Hi friends, how are you? कैसे हो दोस्तों? Welcome to this channel and let's see today's video, that is 10th standards all poems appreciation. Today we are going to see. So let's start. This video would be really interesting for 10th standard students. So let's start. The question is, read the poem and write an appreciation in the paragraph format with the help of following points. And these are our points. First, title for half mark, the poet for half mark, a rhyme scheme for 1 mark, figures of speech for 1 mark, and theme or central idea for 2 marks. So let's cover all the poems one by one. So first poem is Where the Mind is Without Fear. The poem Where the Mind is Without Fear is written by Rabindranath Tagore. He got Nobel Prize for his anthology Gitanjali. The poem does not follow any rhyme scheme. It is written in free verse. The poet has used many figures of speech such as alliteration, apostrophe, metaphor, personification, and anaphora. But he has perfectly used repetition in the whole poem by using the word where. He has used it for poetic effect and to give utmost importance to the place. The poet requests God to give freedom for his countrymen, not just from the British rule, but from bad thinking also. He urges to him for the place where everyone would live in harmony instead of division, get the chance for learning, live a respectful life, be fearless, be logical thinker, stay away from difference on the basis of caste, religion, class, and language. Be hardworking for developing one's thoughts and actions, and would be led by the God. He wants the place where people would like to live because such place is none other but heaven. The poem is a prayer to God, whom the poet considers the Father because the Father tries complete the good wishes of the Son. So here we have completed Where the Mind is Without Fear poems appreciation in new format. Next poem, All the World is a Stage. The poem All the World is a Stage is written by William Shakespeare. This poem is taken from his play As You Like It, and it is a monologue made by Jacques, one of the characters from the play. The poem has steady rhythm in each line but does not follow any rhyme scheme. Hence, it is written in blank verse. The poet has used figures of speech such as alliteration, repetition, and simile. But he has mainly used metaphor. All the world is a stage and all the men and women merely players. In this line, we can see the stage players have been compared directly with the world and actors respectively. The theme of the poem is the cycle of life. Shakespeare addresses the world a stage where everyone has been assigned to play a special role. Birth is entrance and the death is exit for everyone. The poet has divided the life into 7 stages. Each has its own varied qualities and features. It tells how one starts out an infant when it is helpless without understanding and ends up the same way without being aware of what is happening with him or her. The poem is an extremely knowledgeable poem about life and its stages. So here we have done the second poem's appreciation. Let's move on third poem, Animals. The poem Animals is written by Walt Whitman. He made a break with the tradition where all poetry was rhymed and metrical, and wrote a revolutionary new kind of poetry in free verse. The poem does not follow any rhyme scheme. It is written in free verse. The poet has used many figures of speech such as alliteration, repetition, personification, and hyperbole. But he has mainly used anaphora. They do not. This expression has been used 3 times in the beginning of the line for poetic effect. Whitman finds solace among the animals rather than the humans. He presents the qualities lies in the animals like satisfaction, simplicity, selflessness, happy in the most difficult situation where humans are totally opposite to them. The poem has given utmost respect to the animals by showing the virtues they possess, but the humans negligently left all of them while they were developing. Overall, the poet tries to tell to spend time with the animals but not with the humans. He thinks the animals are better than humans. And here we have done third poem's appreciation also. Next poem, fourth poem, The Pulley. The poem The Pulley is written by George Herbert. He was a priest by profession. He wrote religious poems. The poem has 4 stanzas and each stanza has 5 lines. The rhyme scheme of the poem is A B A B A. The poet has used many figures of speech such as alliteration, inversion, paradox, synecdoche, but he has mainly used pun. Rest in the bottom lay. In this line, the word rest has 2 meanings. First is remaining something and another is satisfaction. Both meanings are created there for poetic effect. The pulley shows how God lifts man towards himself with the pulley of restlessness. When he created humans, he bestowed all world's riches like strength, beauty, wisdom, honor, pleasure to human. But he stopped when the time came to give rest. He knew that if humans were bestowed with rest, they would never try to find the creator of them, but could be bound to his creation, means earthly things. So he uses the pulley of restlessness to make them his worshippers. So here we have done these 4 poems appreciation. Let's see 5th poem, The Night of the Scorpion. The poem Night of the Scorpion is written by Nissim Ezekiel. He published this poem in his 5th book, The Exact Name, in 1965. The poem is an example of free verse containing 8 stanzas and 47 lines. The poet has used many figures of speech such as alliteration, simile, hyperbole, personification, onomatopoeia. But he has used metaphor in this line. Burst the name of God 100 times to paralyze the evil one. In this line, the evil one is compared with the scorpion. The poem starts in a house at night where it was raining, and a scorpion, in order to take shelter, comes to the house. This poem is about how the scorpion stung the poet's mother, how his mother struggles against the poison, how the villagers, without thinking the mother's condition, shows their less knowledge, and how his father tries to reduce his mother's pain by doing some illogical and rational things. But everything seems worthless against the poison. At last, it shows the mother's love for her children when she thanks to God for sparing her children. Here we have done this 5th poem, The Night of Scorpion, appreciation. Next poem, 6th poem, The Will to Win. The poem The Will to Win is written by Burton Braley. When he was 11 years old, he published his work, a fairy tale, Why the Grass is Green. The poem is not following any rhyme scheme, so it is an example of free verse. The poet has used many figures of speech such as alliteration, repetition, epiphora, antithesis, and tautology. But the poet has perfectly used climax. Give up your time, your peace, and your sleep for it. We can see in this line that the words time, peace, sleep have been used in ascending order. Braley asks us about a fervent desire. We should pursue our personal goal relentlessly and with passion. The poem tells us if we take hold of and focus on that we strongly want, then ultimately we will get it. The poet urges to give up time, peace, and sleep in order to work towards the most important thing in our life. All else is supposed to take second place. We have to lose all fears of any kind. If we show the courage, faith, and trust, then nothing will stop us from getting what we want, and even God will also help us to get that thing. So here we have done this 6th poem, The Will to Win poem's appreciation. Next poem, 7th, A Thing of Beauty is a Joy Forever. The poem A Thing of Beauty is a Joy Forever is written by John Keats. This poem is the first stanza of a longer poem Endymion based on Greek mythology. The poem has 8 stanzas. The poem is in couplet form of rhyme scheme, that is AA, BB, CC and so on except last line. The poet has used many figures of speech such as alliteration, repetition, anaphora, epigram and antithesis. But the poet has perfectly used inversion in the following line. Are we wreathing flowery band? We can see that structure of the sentence has been made wrong for poetic effect. John says that a beautiful thing will give us forever joy, like a shady tree which gives us a sleep full of sweet dreams, good health and relaxation. The moon, the sun, the trees, the daffodils with the green meadows around them, the streams, the musk roses, the graves of great people with their tales of struggle and inspiration. All these things are beautiful. The gloom and sadness caused by negativity fades away because of these beautiful things that surround us. The poet feels that the fountain of beautiful things is falling down from the edge of heaven, and we humans are drinking it and living a life. So here we have done our second last poem, A Thing of Beauty is Joy Forever. Now it is last poem, Height of Ridiculous. The poem The Height of Ridiculous is written by Oliver Wendell Holmes. He was a physician, a novelist, an essayist and a poet. The poem has 8 stanzas and the rhyme scheme of the poem is ABCB. The poet has used many figures of speech such as alliteration, repetition, inversion, antithesis, tautology and onomatopoeia. But he has used transferred epithet in this following line. 10 days and night with a sleepless eye. In this line we can see the word sleepless has been used for the poet, not for his eyes. The poet tells the reader that once he writes some extremely humorous lines, though he mentions himself as a serious writer. He asks his servant to print those lines and servant follows his orders with reading those lines. While reading them, he shows some humorous reactions like smiling, chuckling, laughing loudly, the split of his waistband and the burst of 5 buttons. It makes the reader to expand his or her imagination, because it is said that humans don't laugh without any cause. The main intention of the poem is to entertain the readers. And here we have done these poems appreciations. So we have done all the poems appreciation. So I hope you would have understand this video. I hope you will send it to them whom have really need for this video. And thank you once again for subscribing this channel. Bye.